In the vibrant village of Ikena, humans and magical creatures lived side by side, though most people believed they were the only ones who called it home. Among the villagers was a young woman named Adeora, known for her breathtaking beauty and calm, gentle demeanor. Her kindness drew admiration from everyone, and many men tried to win her heart. "Adeora, you're so beautiful. Will you marry me?" they often asked. But Adeora always smiled politely and said, "Thank you, but I'm not ready." Adeora sold the freshest fruits and vegetables in the bustling market, her store always filled with eager customers. Yet, no one knew where she lived. She arrived at the market early and left before dusk, keeping her home a secret. Villagers often whispered, "Where does Adeora live? Why does she keep it hidden?" But Adeora offered no answers, enjoying her quiet, private life. She was like a breeze in Ikena, admired but mysterious. One sunny day, a handsome man named Emeka visited the market. He was looking for fresh produce and stopped in his tracks when he saw Adeora. Her beauty left him speechless. "She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen," he thought. Gathering his courage, he walked over to her stall. "Hello, my name is Emeka." "What's your name?" he asked, trying to hide his nerves. Adeora gave him a warm smile. "I'm Adeora. How can I help you today?" Emeka lingered after buying some fruits, captivated by her gentle voice and kind demeanor. He returned to the market every day, just to see her. Over time, they became friends, and Emeka realized he was falling in love. One evening, as the market was closing, Emeka noticed how late it was. He watched Adeora pack her goods and offered, "Let me walk you home. It's not safe to go alone at night." Adeora hesitated, but Emeka insisted, so she finally agreed. As they walked, the air grew colder, and darkness settled over the village. Suddenly, Emeka felt a cold, ghostly hand touch his back. He turned quickly, but no one was there. His heart raced, and fear gripped him. Adeora remained calm, walking ahead as if nothing had happened. "Adeora," Emeka stammered, "I think I should turn back. It's getting too dark." Adeora looked at him gently and said, "It's all right, Emeka. You can go back if you're frightened." Her calm demeanor unsettled him further. Nodding quickly, he turned and ran back to the village, his heart pounding all the way home. After that night, Emeka never returned to the market. Adeora missed him but continued her quiet routine. Villagers gossiped about why Emeka had suddenly stopped coming to see her, but no one knew the truth. Adeora carried a secret: she wasn't just a girl from Ikena. She was part of a magical family that lived deep in the enchanted forest beyond the village. Adeora's family wasn't human, they could change their forms at will, though she was the only one who could appear fully human. Her parents had always warned her, "Adeora, you must never fall in love with a human. Our worlds are too different." They were protective of her and didn't trust humans. When Emeka began visiting Adeora at the market, her family grew anxious. They feared she might fall in love with him and resolved to scare him away. The cold hand Emeka felt that night was their doing, a warning to keep him away from their daughter. Adeora was heartbroken. She liked Emeka and longed to have friends in the village. Tired of her family's strict rules, she made a bold decision: she would leave the forest and live among humans in Ikena. One day, she ventured deep into the forest to say goodbye to her family. "I love you all," she said, her voice steady but emotional. "But I want to live my own life, make my own choices, and be free." Her parents were hurt but respected her decision. They warned her one last time: "The human world is harsh, Adeora. Be careful." With a heavy heart, Adeora left the forest and moved to the village for good. In Ikena, Adeora started a new life. She kept her magical past a secret and continued to sell her goods in the market. However, she knew she needed more protection. Determined to sever all ties with her family's world, Adeora went to the shrine of Obasi, a powerful spirit known for granting freedom to those who sought it. Kneeling before the altar, she said, "Great Obasi, I want to cut all connections with my family. I want to live freely in Ikena, away from their control." Obasi appeared in a soft glow and listened to her plea. "I understand your wish," the spirit said. "I will grant you the freedom you seek, but beware, your family will not be pleased. They may try to curse you." Adeora, with determination in her heart, nodded. "I understand. I am ready." With a wave of Obasi's hand, the bond between Adeora and her family was severed. When her family realized what had happened, they were furious. Her mother, overcome with anger and sorrow, cast a curse. "May you never find happiness with a human. May they always leave you in despair," she whispered to the winds. Despite the curse, Adeora remained in Ikena village, carrying on with her life by selling in the market and engaging with the locals. She longed for love and a sense of belonging, even though the shadow of the curse loomed over her. Adeora resolved to live freely, maintaining her kind and gentle spirit, hoping someone would one day see beyond the curse and love her for who she was. One day, a well-known merchant named Kolechi arrived in Ikena village. He traveled from village to village, selling fine cloth and garments. His charm and friendly nature quickly earned him the affection of many. When Kolechi saw Adeora at the market, he was captivated by her beauty and grace. "Who is this lovely girl?" he wondered. With a broad smile, he approached her. "Hello, I'm Kolechi. I've heard much about you," he said warmly. Adeora smiled gently. "I'm Adeora. It's nice to meet you," she replied. Kolechi was enchanted by Adeora's soft voice and kind eyes. He began visiting the market more frequently, always stopping by her stall for a chat. Their conversations were filled with laughter, and Kolechi found himself falling deeply in love with her. One day, after mustering his courage, Kolechi confessed his feelings. "Adeora, I care for you deeply. Will you marry me and come live with my family?" he asked. Though cautious because of her past experiences, Adeora felt a flicker of hope and agreed to meet Kolechi's family. Kolechi was elated and proudly brought her to his village. However, his mother, skeptical of Adeora's mysterious background, frowned as she observed her. "This girl is beautiful, but something feels off," she thought. After speaking briefly with Adeora, she shook her head and said, "I don't trust her. She's not suitable for our family." Kolechi was heartbroken. He cherished Adeora but respected his mother's wishes. With a heavy heart, he told Adeora, "I'm sorry. My family doesn't approve of our marriage. Adeora felt her heart shatter. She had hoped Kelechi would see beyond the curse, but she understood his decision. Tears streaming down her face, she quietly left his home and returned to Ikena. Though her heart was heavy, Adeora persevered. She continued her daily routine, selling goods in the market and greeting everyone with kindness. Yet, the burden of the curse weighed heavily on her soul. Desperate for peace, she decided to return to the shrine of Obisi, hoping the powerful spirit could finally free her from the curse. Kneeling at the altar, Adeora pleaded with Obisi. "Great Obisi, the curse on me has brought nothing but pain. Please help me lift it so I can find peace." The spirit appeared in a soft glow, listening to her plea. "Adeora," Obisi said gently, "you have endured much, but lifting this curse comes with a condition. You must never let anger consume your heart. If you do, the curse will return stronger than before." Adeora nodded with determination. "I promise to keep my heart pure. Please lift the curse," she vowed. Obisi raised a hand, and a warm breeze enveloped her. Adeora felt the weight of the curse lift, leaving her feeling free for the first time in years. She thanked Obisi sincerely before returning to Ikena, ready to live a life free from her past burdens. Back in the village, Adeora resumed her daily life with a renewed sense of hope. One evening, as Adeora was walking back from the market, she noticed a man helping an elderly woman carry a heavy basket. His kind gestures caught her attention. The man, whose name was Didi, noticed her watching and smiled warmly. "Helping her makes me feel lighter too," he said, wiping his brow. Adeora smiled back. "That's kind of you," she replied. They started walking together, and their conversation flowed naturally. Over the next few weeks, they continued to meet casually in the village, sharing laughs and stories. Didi's genuine kindness and humility drew Adeora closer, and she began to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time: trust. Didi didn't pry into her past but valued her presence, making her feel appreciated. "Adeora," he said one day, "I care deeply for you. You're remarkable, and I want to be with you." Adeora hesitated, her heart filled with a mix of hope and fear. "I've endured a lot, Didi," she said cautiously. "Are you sure you want to be with me?" Didi smiled warmly. "I'm certain, Adeora. Let's create a life together." His sincerity touched her, and for the first time in years, she felt hope. Adeora and Didi grew closer with each passing day. Didi treated Adeora with kindness and respect. One evening, as the stars twinkled above them, Didi took Adeora's hands in his. "Adeora, you are the most remarkable person I've ever met. I want to spend my life with you. Will you marry me?" he asked with sincerity. Adeora hesitated, memories of past heartbreak and the curse lingering in her mind. But Didi's warm eyes reassured her. Smiling, she said, "Yes, Didi, I will marry you." The village of Ikena buzzed with excitement as preparations for Adeora and Didi's wedding began. Villagers decorated the square with bright banners and colorful flowers. The air was filled with music, laughter, and joy. On the day of the wedding, Adeora looked radiant in her flowing gown, and Didi couldn't stop smiling. As they exchanged vows under the warm sun, the villagers cheered and celebrated the couple's love. That evening, the newlyweds retired to their new home, ready to begin their life together. But as they prepared for bed, Adeora felt uneasy. A cold shiver ran down her spine, and she looked at Chidi with worry. Before she could say a word, her body began to change. Her legs fused together, her skin turned scaly, and within moments, she transformed into a giant python. Chidi's eyes widened in terror as he stepped back, unable to comprehend what he was seeing. Adeora, now in her python form, looked at him with sorrowful eyes. Overwhelmed with fear, Chidi screamed and fled from the house, stumbling through the village and calling for help. The villagers, hearing his cries, quickly gathered outside their home. As the villagers approached cautiously, they gasped at the sight of the massive python slithering out of the doorway. Whispers of fear and confusion rippled through the crowd. "Is this the curse we've heard about?" one elder murmured. The joyous celebration of hours earlier had turned into a night of dread and disbelief. The elders decided to summon the oracle for answers. The villagers gathered solemnly in the square as the oracle arrived, a wise figure who had guided the village through many mysteries. The elders and villagers formed a circle as the oracle stepped forward. "Adeora," the oracle called, "come forward." The giant python slowly slithered into the center, and in a deep, sorrowful voice, Adeora began to speak. "I am Adeora," she said. "I come from a magical family in the forest. I am the only one who can take human form. My parents always warned me never to marry a human, fearing it would bring disaster. But I wanted to live a normal life, to find love and happiness. When I severed ties with my family, they cursed me, saying I would never find true happiness with a human." The villagers listened intently, their fear giving way to sympathy. They had always known Adeora as a kind and gentle soul. The oracle turns to Chidi. "Do you have anything to say?" the oracle asked firmly. Chidi hesitated, his head hung low. Finally, he spoke. "I have something to confess," he said, his voice trembling. "I was drawn to Adeora because of her beauty and kindness, but I also had selfish intentions. I thought I could use her to gain wealth and power. My plan was to take her money and leave her once I got what I wanted," Chidi admitted. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The villagers, who had always seen Chidi as caring and kind, were shocked by his betrayal. The oracle's gaze was steady. "Chidi," they said, "you planned to betray Adeora's trust and use her for your own gain. This is a grave wrongdoing. Adeora sought only peace and love, but you saw her as a tool for your benefit." The oracle's voice grew firm. "Actions have consequences. You cannot be freed from Adeora. You will stay with her as your wife. This is your punishment and the lesson you must learn." A murmur swept through the crowd. The villagers were stunned by the oracle's ruling, but they respected the wisdom behind it. Adeora and Chidi will leave Ikena together, to face the challenges ahead and seek a new path wherever it may lead. With heavy hearts, Adeora and Chidi left the village, bound by fate and the oracle's decree. They walked into the forest, where Adeora's family lived. The villagers watched as they departed, some filled with sympathy, others with curiosity. Before they left, the oracle declared that Adeora and Chidi could only return to the village if her parents granted them forgiveness. As they entered the enchanted forest, the air grew thick with magic. Chidi, nervous but resolute, followed Adeora's lead. When they reached the hidden clearing where Adeora's family resided, Chidi stepped forward, bowing his head. "I am sorry for my intentions," he said. "I wanted to use Adeora, but I have learned my lesson. I accept the oracle's judgment and ask for your forgiveness." Adeora's parents studied him carefully, sensing the sincerity in his voice. After a moment of silence, her mother spoke. "We see your regret, Chidi. You are forgiven, but you must honor our ways and be true to Adeora. Never take her love for granted again." Chidi nodded. "I understand and will do my best," he promised. Rather than remain in the forest, Adeora's parents recognized her longing to return to the world she had left behind. "Our home may be magical," her father said, "but if your heart belongs to the village, then that is where you should be. Go, and build a peaceful life with Chidi. Only promise that you will visit us from time to time." Grateful for their forgiveness, Adeora and Chidi prepared to leave the enchanted realm. Her parents blessed them, reminding them that the oracle's prophecy had led them to this moment of understanding. Adeora and Chidi then retraced their steps, emerging from the forest and heading back to the village they once called home. When the villagers saw their return, they were surprised and curious. Yet, as word spread of the family's pardon, minds began to open. Adeora and Chidi settled into daily life once more, free from the heavy guilt that had once weighed them down. Over the following months, they rediscovered the warmth of community and found acceptance among those who had once viewed them with suspicion. In time, Adeora and Chidi's love flourished. Months later, their household was filled with new joy when Adeora gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The villagers, witnessing this blessing, saw it as a sign of healing and hope. And so, the story of Adeora and Chidi, once marked by doubt, grew into a testament of redemption, forgiveness, and the enduring power of love.